In the last session, the characters looking for Barovia found themselves lost in the mist. Pushing westward to backtrack their steps, they came across two children asking for help as there was a monster in the basement. Having cleared the first level, the characters push forward to the second. Our characters are Brayseis, a female tiefling warlock who has a pact of the Old One, Genji, a male gnome moon druid, Dax, a male human rogue, and Ymir, a male human monk. Heading up the spiral stairs, they arrive on a landing. The first room is explored and found to be a conservatorium, where, under a harpsichord, Brayseis finds a small, white, starving dog, Lancelot. Fetching food from the dining area downstairs, Lancelot would not touch it, and the group instead gave it some of their rations. Brayseis decided to sit down and play the harpsichord, and once the music started, ghostly figures materialised and started dancing around the room, and then, at the end, bowing to each other and vanishing. Exploring the other major room on this level turned out to be a study, and the group sees a large painting while out there of the Durst family and can identify Elizabeth and Gustav, the parents, and the children, Rosavalda and Thornbolt. Rose and Thorn could be recognised as the kids outside. Brayseis also finds a book called The Life and Times of Genji, but puts that away for later. Ymir finds Gustav's diary.
Seems to be that Gustav and Elizabeth started to drift apart after forming a cult here, and the man of the house found a fondness for the maid. She even fathered him a son.
Nothing else of interest was found on this floor, and the characters head up to the third floor, still in search of stairs to get down to the basement. A thick layer of dust covers this floor, and Genji decides now is a good time to show his skills and creates a wind to try and blast the dust away. But all it does is just kick it all up everywhere, and everyone struggles to see and cough through the dust. Brayseis crosses the room, and a suit of armour here narrowly misses on a surprise attack. Genji quickly passes Lancelot to Dax and tries to fight the armour off by throwing a rock, the result of which ends in Genji being kicked off the third level balcony, falling all the way down to the first level floor. After that, the group simply surrounds and pounds the animated armour and drops it. Pushing forward, the group enter the maid's room and find her ghostly appearance floating there near her bed. She raises a finger to her lips, indicating that she wishes them to be quiet, and points to a room off to the side that identified as a baby's room. Whilst floating there, the ghost keeps glitching, and every now and again for a moment, while floating there looking like a normal see-through version of herself, it changes quickly to another version where her throat is slit and blood is poured all down the front of her. Backing away from her, Ymir heads over to the door full of the cleaning supplies. Now, many of you guys have been through this, but you make these characters, these first level characters, you give them these backgrounds where they've trained for years in their guild and monastery, and they've learnt their art, and they've fought people, and they're ready to go out into the world, and then they just get wailed on by the most insulting of bad guys. In this case, it's an animated broom, and it literally wipes the floor with the martial artist and the druid. It took the warlock coming round to blast it with some magic to put that thing down. With the monk unconscious and the group short of hit points, and their spells low too, they head back downstairs to the music room. And while resting there for a short rest, the rogue slips out and has a little meander through the study alone. And when returns, his pockets are a bit heavier, and he's discovered a note that reads,
"To my most pathetic servant, I am not the Messiah sent to you by the dark powers of this land. I have not come to lead you on a path to immortality. However many souls you have bled on your hidden altar, however many visitors you have tortured in your dungeon, know that you are not the one who brought me to this beautiful land. You are but worms withering in my earth. You say that you are cursed, your fortune spent. You abandoned love for madness. You took solace in the bosom of another woman, and sired a stillborn son. Cursed by darkness, of that I have no doubt. Save you from your wretchedness? I think not. I much prefer you as you are. Your lord and dread master, Strahd von Zarovich.
The handwriting on this letter looks very similar to the first letter they received while in Daggerford requesting their help. Returning back to the third floor master bedroom, they discover it full of cobwebs, dust, and a mummified corpse still hanging from the four-poster bed. A note on the corpse reads,
My beloved children, I wish I could do what all fathers do and tell you that monsters are not real, but that wouldn't be true. Life can create things of exquisite beauty, but it can also twist them into hideous beings, selfish, violent, grotesque monsters. It hurts me to say that your mother has turned into one such monster, inside and out. And I'm afraid that the disease that affects her mind has taken hold of me as well. It sickens me to think that what you've been put through, there are no excuse, but I only ask of you that I know I do not have the right to do so. You try and forgive us. I despair what your mother has become, but I love and pity her at the same time. Rose, I wish I could see you blossom into the strong, beautiful woman. Thornbolt, I wish I could be there for you, but I can't. There is only one way. Goodbye.
It's at this point Brayseis also decides to give Genji a look at the book she found on his life. As Genji skims through the book, his face pales. It's a book about his life. Approaching the end of the book, his face shows signs of terror, and he flung the book away. And he whispers,
This book, it's a book about me. It's about my life.
Ymir caught it, and while examining the book, asks Genji some specific questions about certain parts of his lifestyle, and then looks them up, and then recounts them perfectly as it happened. The book definitely is about this Genji and about his life. They skim through and head to where they currently are in the current situation. And they lean over and read on the second last page. The group stand, huddled around, reading a book, as a shadow advances across the room, approaching them from behind unseen. Blade in its hand, it raises it up to a striking position, and then slashes! They drop the book and all spin around, looking for the shadow. But nothing can be found. As the book dropped, the second last page turned open to the last page, revealing a blood splatter. But the room is empty. The main stairs finished on this level, but still having found no way into the basement, the group starts searching for a way as there appears to be another level above. Dax searches and finds a door. It's old and unused and filled with cobwebs. Ymir lights a torch and uses it to clear a path as the group head up to the fourth level, the attic. The first room they come across is locked, but easily picked. Inside are 2 small beds with skeletal remains on them of children. Scratch marks can be found on the inside of the door and the frame, revealing that the occupants were sealed in and likely starved in here to death. The apparitions of Rose and Thorn fade into view.
Are you here to help us?
She asks, her voice echoed with an extraplanar distance.
We have come to help you rid your house of the monster in the basement,
Brayseis replies.
However, we are yet to have been able to get a way down. Do you know how we can get down there?
She asks Rose. Her ghostly arm raises and points to a dollhouse in the corner of the room. Moving over to inspect the dollhouse, you may notice that it's an exact replica of this house that they're currently in. And inside the children's room, in the dollhouse, a switch can be found. Triggering the switch, a loud clunk can be heard from outside the room.
We wish to be rest in peace. Can you help us?
Rosavalda asks.
There is a family crypt below.
If you have a coffin down there, we will lay you both to rest, dear children. Worry not,
Ymir replies. Carefully wrapping each skeleton in a bedsheet and placing them gently in his bag, the form of Rosavalda approaches Ymir and attempts to phase into him. However, some kind of repulsive force stops them from entering, and she steps backwards. Feeling the rejection from him, she attempts to phase into Genji, disappearing into view. Thornbolt follows his sister and also disappears into Genji. And with that, and the group heading downstairs, finally to the basement, is where we'll wrap up this session.